G'day guys and welcome back to 72T. Hope you all are going well today on Monday. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the iPad Air 2020. Is it worth getting or is it not? So we're going to talk about all the specs, all that great stuff on the iPad Air 2020. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is tell you the top things with the iPad Air features that are really good with it. Also later we're going to be comparing it to the iPad Pro. So we're going to compare it because they look very similar. They do look very similar, so we're going to compare resolution, specs, all that to the iPad Pro, and obviously the price difference to the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. So let's get started, and first let's talk about the top features with the iPad Air 2020. So the first top feature for me is actually USB-C support. So USB-C support is now going to allow you to do fast data transfers, and it obviously will make your iPad charge a little bit faster. The second thing the iPad Air supports, which is actually really great, it's second generation accessories. So what does that mean? That can mean the Magic Keyboard and it can mean the Apple Pencil. It will support that. And it also supports the processor is going to be A14. So A14 is the latest chip that has been put in the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. And the support of Touch ID, sadly in this model you do not get Face ID. Also the iPad will be 10.9 inches, so a pretty good size. You can use it right there, so 10.9 inches. The iPad Pro is 11 inches, so it's not much difference in size. So it's pretty much 11 inches, but 10.9 inches for the iPad Air. And also a total pixels, so you're looking at 2360 by 1640 pixels resolution. So that's what sort of pixels you're going to get. We'll tell you the total resolution later through the video. And also you can record up to 4K, 24 frames per second, also 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. All right there, and you've got a 7 megapixel camera for your FaceTiming use. So you've got all that great stuff right there. And in terms of speakers, you've got stereo speakers and you've also got dual microphones for calling and recording use. Now let's talk about a few things the iPad Air doesn't support. So it doesn't support LiDAR scanner and it also doesn't support Face ID. However, the iPad Air can run some incredible games. So it can run incredible games. Again, the camera is nowhere near as good as the iPad Pro, so it's not as good right there, but it still does the job and you can still do pictures and do recordings on the iPad Air. But they're the main things that the iPad Air doesn't have is the LiDAR scanner, obviously your Face ID, and not as good as it. But other than that, if none of that affects you, you'll be okay with the iPad Air. Honestly, it does everything you need to do, it just doesn't support those main things like the Face ID and the LiDAR scanner. Now let's talk about pricing. We're going to have 3 different iPads pop up on the screen in just a sec. We're going to have the budget iPad, we're going to have the new iPad Air, and also we're going to have the iPad Pro to give you a general idea the different pricing on the different iPads out there that you may want to get. So let's start with the iPad Air pricing. So the iPad Air pricing 2020 is going to start from $899. Now it's a bit of a leap considering the previous iPad Air is around $499, so it's a little bit dearer, but you do get obviously the new look of the iPad, you've got the new Touch ID, you've got USB-C support, all that great stuff. But if you really don't want to get the iPad Air, there are a few different iPads you can pop with. The other one is going to be just the iPad, and this is the budget iPad and they are $499. So you can buy those and they're $499, or you can go the iPad Pro, which is a little bit dearer, which is $1,329, but they are a Pro iPad right there. So that's the different pricing on all the different iPads that you can check out. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it all today. And thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.